And first this Monday night, a study of hospital workers in Leicester has raised concerns about black employees not coming forward for the COVID vaccine. It's also found lower uptake among people who are younger or who come from deprived communities. But across this region, well over 500,000 people have now had their first dose, as our social affairs correspondent Jeremy Ball reports.
The front line in the fight against COVID. Hospital workers are dealing with the worst of this pandemic. Many have had the virus themselves, so they're at the front of the queue for vaccines. Now, a study billed as the first of its kind has looked at the uptake in Leicester among 19,000 hospital workers, from doctors to porters to backroom staff. It found 1 in 3 still hadn't had the jab for whatever reason. The biggest shock was the breakdown between different ethnicities. 71% of white healthcare workers there had been vaccinated. It was lower for South Asian staff at 59%. But look how low it was for black workers, only 37%.
Well, obviously, it is worrying for a number of reasons. First of all, that there is this risk to the healthcare professionals themselves and their families, but even more so to their patients that they're treating. The other reason it's a worry is that many of the people in the general population take advice from healthcare professionals. If healthcare professionals are reluctant to take the vaccine, that messaging will go to the general population as well.
But many of that general population are desperate to be vaccinated. Almost 1 in 5 people have now had the jab across Derbyshire, Nottinghamshire, Leicestershire and Rutland. That's around 600,000 first doses.
It's a credit to our communities who recognise the importance of this vaccination programme. And there's been very, very few people who've actually refused the vaccine. There's been a tremendous recognition of the importance of it. And going forward, obviously, that's key and critical.
And that move forward's being helped by research here at the University of Nottingham, where they're now developing a second-generation vaccine. The new one doesn't just rely on antibodies. It contains a separate protein that triggers a different part of the immune system.
This is a response that will help identify and kill any infected cells to prevent further replication of the virus. So any virus that gets through the antibody response against the spike protein will encounter this sort of backup plan, this second line of defence of T-cell immunity against the nucleoprotein.
But some still need convincing to have the COVID jab, and the Leicester researchers are now trying to find out why some hospital workers still haven't had the vaccination and what might persuade them to get it.
Well, Jeremy is with me now, so that research is still underway. But do they actually have any theories about what might be stopping these people?
Yeah, the professor says, look, this is complex. He thinks it's partly down to misinformation. He's particularly worried about young women saying no because of myths about the impact on fertility. He's worried about a lack of trust in some minority communities, a lack of trust in the government, partly based on controversial vaccine studies in the past. He's also surprised that some young doctors haven't been vaccinated. Now, he thinks a lot of that might be about people who've already had COVID. The problem, of course, they might catch it again. And this new research from the University of Leicester says that lack of uptake is a significant cause for concern.
And are Leicester's hospital bosses saying anything about this?
Yeah, I mean, they make the point, first of all, that some of this will be people who just haven't got round to it yet. Yeah. Because this research was from a fortnight ago, they say already 3 in 4 Leicester hospital staff have had the jab. They say the numbers are rising across all ethnic groups. They also make the point that the stats don't count people who might have got vaccinated away from the hospitals in local centres. Now, the researchers say that number is going to be very small. And the Trust has given us some more information tonight to say all staff can now get the jab at all 3 hospital sites in Leicester. Anyone who hasn't had it really being encouraged to do so now.